What's up, Spartan Nation? This is Huddle Hardwood, your home for Michigan State basketball. My name is Holden.
Hey, my name is Jacob, and today we're going to do a little preview over Ohio State versus Michigan State this Sunday at 1 p.m. at the Breslin Center. To give a little background about Ohio State, they have a 17-9 overall record in the Big Ten. They're 9-6. They're eighth in the Big Ten. I don't know how many games behind they are, but just know it's a lot. In their last five games. They've played Wisconsin, Virginia, USC, Michigan, and Maryland. In those five games, they've won three of five. Starting with their most recent one, they beat Wisconsin, which obviously we know that Wisconsin beat the shit out of us. So um, they beat Wisconsin 86-69, so that's a little scary. In that game, Bruce Thornton was their leading scorer with 27 points. He shot 9 for 18 from the field with 3 for 6 from the three-point line. Their second leading scorer was Devin Royal, who shot 10 for 17 and was 4 for 7 from the three-point line. And he also was 1 for 4 from the free throw line, which I found pretty interesting. And then to a very interesting matchup. It was kind of weird to me that these two teams faced off in the middle of the season, but they played Virginia 2 games ago. They lost to Virginia. Virginia was ranked 13th or 14th at the time, I believe, which personally I think Virginia is a little overrated. But that final score was 70-66. Bruce Thornton again was the leading scorer. He had 28 points. He shot 12 for 21, 2 for 4 from the three-point line. And their second leading scorer was Amari Bynum. He had 15 points. He was 5 for 7 and 3 for 4 from the three-point line. So he had a pretty efficient day. He hasn't really popped up that much on the um in the box score other than that game. But then Devin Royal that game, he had a terrible, terrible game. He had 4 points, 2 for 12 from the field, just terrible performance. And then they had a win against USC. It was 89-82. Bruce Thornton again was leading scorer with 21 points. It's 5 for 11 from the field, over 3 from three. And this is a interesting stat too. He was 11 for 11 at the free throw line. So got to the line a lot. And then Devin Royal, second leading scorer with 19 points, 8 for 11 from the field, 0 for 3 from three. Um, and then against Michigan, they lost 82-61. This game, yeah, pretty rough. Bruce Thornton, 16 points, 6 for 16, 2 for 6 from the three-point line. Devin Royal, 6 for 12, had 15 points, 0 for 3 from the three-point line. And then 5 games ago, they won against Maryland, 82-62. Bruce Thornton had 17 points, 7 for 9 from the field. So, which is very interesting because in the past 4 games before that, he's shot in the ball at least 10 times with an average. He's averaging like 15 shots a game. So it was kind of interesting to see him shoot only 9 shots and 0 for 2 from three. And then their leading scorer was Christoph Tilley, who had 19 points, 7 for 10 from the field, and he only shot 1 3. One thing I noticed is that they're not really a shooting team. I'll get a little more into that a little later. But Holden, what do you notice about the players on this team?
Yeah, so I have a couple players listed down here. Two that I have start off as their, two players to watch are two guys that you set in those box scores pretty frequently. I have down here Bruce Thornton and Devin Royal. Bruce Thornton, he's pretty much their kind of version of Jeremy Fears. He runs their entire offense. He's what the entire game runs through them. Seems like Bruce Thornton has been there forever. And he's a senior now. It feels like he was a senior last year. Feels like he's been there forever, but he's a very good scorer. He can also distribute the ball. Um, he's nearing 1,500 points at his career at Ohio State, so he's been a
Jeez.
pretty volume scorer throughout his whole time there. When it comes to matchups, I think you're going to see a lot of Jeremy Fears on him. They're similar sized. I think you're going to see a lot of Jeremy Fears with a little bit mixed in with Jordan Scott guarding him. So I like to see that interesting matchup. I think we can handle Bruce Thornton pretty well with our two good defenders, of Jeremy and Jordan. Think you'll see a lot of them on Bruce Thornton. Devin Royal, when it comes to Devin Royal, he's also a junior. Well, he's not. He's a junior. I think you'll see a lot of Cohen on him. He's similar size to Cohen. He plays like kind of their 3-4, and then I think you can see a little bit of Jackson on him. I don't think you'll see a lot of Jackson on him. I think you'll see a lot of Cohen slash.
Do you
Uh,
think Jax is fast enough to, or like quick enough to keep up with them?
let's say Devin Royal he's kind of like a he's been stepping out and shooting a lot more similar to what Jackson has been doing this year. That he's developed an outside shot, but typically he's been like that, like a smaller kind of low post, like back down kind of player. So I think Jackson would be pretty suited to that. He's like I said, Devin Royal is a little undersized compared to Jackson, but I think you'll see more of Cohen on him.
Yeah.
And
And it
fun,
seems like he's not much of a shooter either. So I do like that matchup
yeah.
with Jackson on him.
Um, Funny thing about Devin Royal and Cohen. He Devin Royal was in the same recruiting class as Jeremy Fears, Xavier Booker, Cohen Carr, Garrick Norman.
Really?
We were originally recruiting Devin Royal over Cohen. I don't know if it was necessarily over Cohen Carr. And no, we were recruiting him before Cohen Carr. And it came down to Michigan State and Ohio State. And then he ended up committing to Ohio State, and that's when we like went full on towards Cohen Carr and started recruiting him pretty
Wow.
quickly. And
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
and then the Cohen Carr commitment kind of happened pretty fast after that. So it'll be interesting to see them. I mean, they've played each other already, but just kind of like an interesting little storyline for you that we could have had Devin Royal instead of Cohen Carr, and I don't know where Cohen Carr would be at if we ended up with Devin Royal. Um, and then the third player I wrote down was freshman center Christoph Tilley. He's a 7-foot center who score averages about 12 points per game. He doesn't step out and shoot the three that often, but he is capable of doing it. I think you'll see a lot of Carson Cooper on him just because similar size, similar length. Um, I think you'll see a lot of that. I don't think he's too much of like, a post threat. I think he's just kind of, someone that can stretch the floor and uh, do all that. And then one big uh, injury that they have is to their second leading scorer, John Mobley Jr. He's out indefinitely with a right hand fracture coming into this game, which is really big because he's their best 3-point shooter in my opinion, and stats say so as well. So I think that would have been a really interesting matchup for Jordan Scott in this game, but since he is out indefinitely, we won't be seeing him. So I think that's an advantage that we will have for this game. Um, but yeah, so are there anything else that you want to touch on player wise that you have down or?
Not necessarily player wise, but like team wise. One thing I noticed is every single game they don't have any bench help whatsoever. Like every single game, their starters are the ones that have to produce. They have 3 to 4 player starters every game in double figures, and then you look at their bench. Against Wisconsin, their bench had 8 points, and against Virginia, their bench only had 4 points. 4 points. That's insane. USC was a little better. Their bench had 16 points against Michigan, only 11 against Maryland, 19 points. To put it in perspective, like last game, Kurtang had 9 himself.
Yeah.
And that's not like, so they have no bench help. On average, they have 3 to 4 players coming off the bench. The most I've really seen in the past 5 games was 4 players, with the lowest being 3. But they really, if we make their starters tired, they're really not going to have a shot. They have no one to help them out.
Yeah, and I think I
Um,
mean, I don't like to see foul baiting out of Jeremy Fears, but if we
yeah.
somehow get Bruce Thornton in foul trouble, I think the game's over from there because like he pretty much
Oh
runs
yeah.
the
Yeah. As much as I would see, I don't know. As long as if it's like a close game, then maybe I
Let's
could
have Jeremy
support
be
it
aggressive and draw natural fouls.
and then get
Attack
a
the rim and
bucket
attack.
instead of,
Yes.
yeah. Because it
But if
drives
he
me
happens to
in.
draw fouls. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it drives me insane when he has like open layup and he just goes into the dude for a foul and then doesn't even try to get the layup. Like, dude, I promise you can do both. Quit doing the foul shit. It pisses me off. It really does. Anyways, um, so to go in a little more into the stats, like I kind of noted earlier, Ohio State's not really a three-point shooting team that much. So they average 3.8 3-point makes a game compared to
Uh,
MSU is also, oh wait, what I said 3.8? Sorry, I didn't mean 3.8. I messed up. They average 7.8 3-pointers a game.
that is insane.
Um, yeah, no, not three. That's
Like that's a
crazy.
really bad shooting team.
No, not that bad. Which Michigan State also averages 7.8 3 points per game. So I guess this next stat kind of backs up what I'm saying that they're not a 3-point shooting team because they only take about 22.7 attempts per game compared to Michigan State, which I would consider Michigan State not necessarily a 3-point shooting team. Michigan State takes 27 3-pointers a game. So 22, especially in this day and age, is really not a lot, and it shows how not confident they are in their
Mhm.
shot. So I would say make them shoot from the three. And like I was going into other stats, like there's games where their best players don't even hit a three, and it's like just make them shoot. And then and the total ranked defense, Ohio State in D1 basketball has the 139th best defense. So really not a defensive team. Goes hand in hand also with their bench. Like they're going to be tired quickly. So keep it fast paced. Michigan State, according to the website I was looking at, 21 best defense in the nation. I don't know how much I really agree with that. I think they're better than that. So Ohio State gives up 73.7 points per game. And Michigan State gives up 66.7 points per game. Um, Ohio State averages 84.6 points per game. Kind of crazy considering most of their points comes from just their starters.
Mhm.
But I mean, all their games have been super high scoring. So I mean, goes hand in hand with the no defense too. I mean, yeah. So and then Michigan State averages 78.9 points per game, but that stat's like a hit or miss. It doesn't really define anything because Michigan State's always been in defensive battle games. So I
We
don't
could
really
very well
take that.
score well under that. So
Yeah, we could score under that and it could be 58 to 53 and we win. I mean,
yeah,
it just depends. And then they're ranked 38 offensively in the nation. Michigan State's 50th. They average 16.8 assists per game. MSU averages 18.6. They average 34.7 rebounds per game, where Michigan State averages 41.1 rebounds per game. They have 68.7 possessions per game, and that's in 40 minutes. That ranks them at 140th in the nation. Michigan State has 69.1 possessions per game, ranking them at 116th. Turnovers per game, they average 10.7 turnovers per game. Michigan State averages 11.9, which is really sad considering last year, like one of our biggest things was we didn't really turn the ball over. And it's been like a problem all year with our turnovers. And at the beginning of the year, I thought it was just like the beginning of season jitters and I thought we'd figure it out, but we never really figured it out. And we it's kind of gotten worse in my opinion, which is kind of concerning, especially with March
yeah,
coming right around the corner. So I really want to see us pick that shit up because it's getting kind of frustrating that we're not taking care of the ball. And I know Divine's out, but I mean, we really got to do a better job. But they forced 10.3 turnovers per game, and we forced 10.4 turnovers per game. So like the statistics are like pretty close together, but as all of us sports fans know, statistics don't tell the whole story. It can help us infer and lead us in the right direction, but we know that at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. It's about who shows up. But do you have any like X factors or keys to victory for this
Yeah,
game?
so a couple things that I want to see from the MSU side from this game that I think are important, not only to this game, but just for down the stretch here, coming close to March, and we have some pretty big games coming up. So, um, another thing that I started on here that was something important from last game is I think we need to have another strong start again. We cannot go back and fall back to what we were doing earlier this month with just all the slow starts getting down double digits early. You can't be doing that, especially, going into the half down 15 plus or something like that. Like you're asking yourself to have perfect halves in order to, compete by the end of the game. So I think we need to have another strong start like we did against UCLA. It's just a completely different tone switch when that happens. Like you're forcing the other team to play back on their heels and come from behind, and it's just a whole different, confidence swing. When you start out strong, you're the one that has control of the lead. I think MSU plays so much better when they have the lead because they do a very good job at, controlling the pace of the game, and that has a lot to do with Jeremy Fears. He's great at that. He controls the pace of the game and the game speed. So I think it's always important for us to get out to a hot start. Um,
Oh, wait, before you go on your next thought, um, it's kind of funny you say that too, because last year I swore up and down that this team had a kink for Tom Izzo yelling at them, man. Like they would get down at halftime and then we would just win by 20 in the second half. And it's like this team does I need that energy, bro, that sexual energy. Let Tom yell at you, bro. Let him and
so
it's
energy is
like
crazy.
bro, I swear they had a kink for getting yelled at last year. But yeah. Anyways, it's kind of upsetting that our team doesn't have that same passion for getting yelled at. But anyways,
I don't know. I mean, I've seen it a lot throughout the year so
yeah.
far with Jackson and Germany going at it. But regardless, I don't think teams are wanting to get out to slow starts just to do it. So I think it's better to get a hot start. And then my second piece here, I think this would be a good game for Jackson to get back to playing like Jackson. You saw it a little bit at the beginning of the UCLA game, and then he kind of fizzled off and he didn't really do much after that. I think that other than Ohio State's 7 foot center, who's a freshman, by the way, I think they're well undersized compared to Michigan State. I think we have the size advantage. So I would like to see Jackson get back into that post, especially if he has, someone like Devin Royal on him who's 3 inches shorter, or they bring in their freshman forward who's about 6'8". If Jackson's guarded by one of those two, I want to see him in the post and getting back to his footwork and his moves that we're prone to seeing. And I think this is a game where he could also crash the glass and get a lot of offensive rebounds, a lot of putbacks. Um, Jackson's been slowly getting back to form a little bit, but he's just been kind of running this little flat line of, you know, 7, 8 points a game. He always get his rebounds, but you haven't really seen him get to his like 15 plus in a very long time. So I would like to see him get back to that. And then lastly, I would like to see if our offense can stay hot from last game. Last game we made the most threes that we have in the last 2 or 3 years. And we shot just overall over 50% from the field. Our half court offense and our ball movement looked great last game. So I think it's important to keep that momentum going. Like we said, down the stretch, we have a lot of big and important games. So I think it's very important that, we get back in the groove of our offense because the last month we've been shooting bricks. So I think it's very important to get back to that. But do you have any other keys to the game or things that you want to see from the MSU side before we get to the predictions here?
Yeah, so my number one thing, and I will say this every single game for the rest of the season, no matter who we play. Don't play timid. Do not play timid. And this goes, I'm gonna branch it off. Come out with energy. Like you were saying, they need to come out with the fire underneath their ass. They have to. The other thing, physical. They have to play physical. That has been our MO for the entire season. That's what got us to this point right now of being a top 15 ranked team. And at one point, or multiple times in the season, being a top 10 team and getting up to seven. Like that's what's gotten us to be so successful this year. And we've really gotten away from it the past couple games in February. So it's really important to be physical. I really want to see them rebound the basketball. That again, when we out rebounds a team, there's like 90. I'm just throwing like this isn't a real stat. This is just in my head. But like 90% of the time, we're gonna win if we out rebound the other team. That's just how we are.
Yeah.
Um, so that's really important. I really want to see Jackson get more post touches. And what I'm about to say is kind of spoiling the prediction, not really. Um, I think MSU dominates this game. So, in going into the thought of dominating the game, I don't want to see Jackson take more than 2 3 pointers this game. I want to see all of his touches come in the paint. And I understand if the game ends up being close and we need him to hit a three, obviously go out and hit a three. But I want him to get all those post touches. I want him to practice, 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 especially with March coming up around the corner. I need to see him get more post touches. And then movement on offense. And it's broad, but I'm going to go a little deeper into it. And when I say movement on offense, I need to see off ball movement. We've been having a really bad habit of just standing around. And when we win games, you notice our movement's good. When we have bad games like against Wisconsin or against Minnesota, our offense is stagnant and we don't move. So I need to see off ball movement. I need to see the ball moving around. Like last game, it was just constantly moving, moving, moving. I need to see more of that. Kind of more with the off ball stuff. Don't stand still. If you find yourself standing still, make a cut, go set a pick, do something, and then create for yourself. Like we can't, especially with March coming around the corner. I would like to see Jordan Scott do some creating for himself, which he's gotten a little better at. But I want to see some more of it, especially with how efficient he's been. I don't want to just see him sitting there. Obviously, it's his bread and butter, and I want to see him get catch and shoot opportunities. But if we go up in the game, I want to see him take some stuff off the dribble or like some dribble pull ups, take the ball for a layup into the paint.
He has been doing better at. He has been
He
slowly.
has.
He's been building that confidence since he's become a starter. He's been doing more
Yeah.
things.
And I want him to continue to build off of it and continue getting
Mhm.
better. And then protect the paint. Like I said, I don't think this is a really good 3 point shooting team. And I think one of the keys to victory is protecting the paint. And I mean, we usually do a pretty good job of that, but that's my keys to victory. So
All right. So before we get into the prediction here, I do have kind of a fun and interesting question to bring up to you. So I'm going to name an Ohio State player, and I'm going to see if this name resonates to you at all from recent times or just any time in the past that we played Ohio State. I want to see what your
Mhm.
reaction to this would be. What does the name Dale Bonner do to you?
Dale Bonner. Mm.
It's fine, and it's kind of a weird name not to remember. It's a very niche thing, but
What
does
year
that
did he
ring
play?
2 years ago?
Oh my gosh, he's the one that hit that crazy 3 pointer. I remember
Yes.
that, bro. We were in
So
the
the
living
last,
room. That was terrible.
the last time Ohio State came to the Breslin Center, game was tied at 57. After we had a double-digit second half lead, Ohio State came back late, and Dale Bonner hit the last second game-winning buzzer beater to beat us. That was just to go along with the kind of just disappointing year that it was coming into that season, top five preseason, just to coming into that game already had 10 losses, and that was our 11th loss of the year, just coming in that fashion. So, not trying, knock on wood, not trying to bring any bad mojo into this game, just thought it was interesting that the last time they were in OSU, that shot happened. So,
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah,
expecting you to know about her by name or anything, but
no, I definitely don't remember him by name, but when you said 2 years ago, it clicked in my head. I just saw that clip on I think it was TikTok or Twitter or something. Ridiculous shot. We smothered him and he somehow hit that shit. And then I remember you you kicked the coffee table and then I just put my head in my palms for like 5 straight minutes and I just couldn't believe it, dude. It was just such a crazy shot. Like we that season we just could not catch a break and Yeah, I definitely really frustrating to see that go in. It was almost laughable though at that point.
Yeah.
Like the season, like you said, we started out top five. I think we started out specifically four.
Hmm.
Um, and we had such high hopes for that year, and to just for that to happen, it was almost laughable and just it was just a sad season. I don't really want to live it
So, anyways,
too much
so
more.
going on to positive notes, my score prediction here, I do have a rather tight game. I do have Ohio State covering the spread. I don't have them Michigan State winning in a blowout fashion, as you said earlier. I do have this game MSU 75, Ohio State 68. Just feels like whenever we play Ohio State, it does typically not necessarily come down to the wire, but I feel like it's usually pretty tight. And whether Ohio State's worse than MSU, I feel like we normally play down to them, and it makes it a closer game. I think it's a 3 to 4 point game down the stretch, and then I think a couple of free throws by the end, by like Jeremy Fears, will pull it out to about a 7 point game. But I do have MSU winning this game by about seven.
All right. So I know I kind of said blowout, but when I meant blowout, I think at some point in the game we will be up 20. I think Ohio State will cut the lead back at some point. I think it'll be like last 5 minutes will be up 20 and then they'll cut the lead. So I have my score prediction as MSU 78, Ohio State 65. So I think we do cover the spread. I think we win by 13. Like I was saying and kind of talking about a little bit, I think we do go up a lot, and that's when want to see like Jordan taking the ball to the hole, Jackson not shooting that many threes. But I do think they end up cutting the lead and we start to slip a little bit at the end, but there's just not enough time for Ohio State to come back.
Alrighty. So that'll do it for this preview of the Michigan State OSU game. This game will be tipped off Sunday at 1 p.m. Excited to watch that game. And then we will have a recap up for you later that day. So stay tuned for that. And hopefully, we come out on a happy note and we can come to this recap on, with good vibes and not be depressed after a loss. But
Yeah.
other than that, go green and
Go white.
thanks for listening.